The Notebook by Nicholas Sparks. Chapter 1. Miracles. Who am I? And how, I wonder, will my story end? The sun has come up and I'm sitting by a window that is foggy with the breath of a life gone by. I'm a sight this morning. 2 shirts, heavy pants, a scarf wrapped twice around my neck, and tucked into a thick sweater knitted by my daughter 30 birthdays ago. The thermostat in my room is set as high as it will go, and a smaller space heater sits directly behind me. It clicks and groans and spews hot air like a fairy tale dragon, and still my body shivers with a cold that will never go away, a cold that has been 80 years in the making. 80 years! I think sometimes, and despite my own acceptance of my age, it still amazes me that I haven't been warm since George Bush was president. I wonder if this is how everyone is my age. My life? It's not easy to explain. It hasn't been the rip-roaring spectacular I fancied it would be, but neither have I burrowed around with the gophers. I suppose it has most resembled a blue-chip stock. Fairly stable, more ups than downs, and gradually trending upwards over time. A good buy, a lucky buy, and I've learnt that not everyone can say this about his life. But don't be misled. I am nothing special, of this I'm sure. I'm a common man with common thoughts, and I've led a common life. There are no monuments dedicated to me, and my name will soon be forgotten. But I've loved another with all my heart and soul, and to me, this has always been enough. The romantics would call this story a love story. The cynics would call it a tragedy. In my mind, it's a little bit of both, and no matter how you choose to view it in the end, it doesn't change the fact that it involves a great deal of my life and the path I've chosen to follow. I have no complaints about my path, and the places it has taken me. Enough complaints to fill a circus tent about other things, maybe, but the path I've chosen has always been the right one, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Time unfortunately doesn't make it easy to stay on course. The path is straight as ever, but now it's strewn with the rocks and gravel that accumulate over a lifetime. Until 3 years ago it would have been easy to ignore, but it's impossible now. There is a sickness rolling through my body, and I'm neither strong nor healthy, and my days are spent like an old party balloon, listless, spongy, and growing softer over time. I cough, and through squinted eyes I check my watch. I realize it's time to go. I stand from my seat by the window and shuffle across the room, stopping at the desk to pick up a notebook I've read 100 times. I don't glance through it. I slip it beneath my arm and continue on my way to the place I must go. I walk on tiled floors, white in colour and speckled with grey. Like my hair and the hair of most people here, though I'm the only one in the hallway this morning. And they're all in their rooms, alone except for televisions. But they, like me, are used to it. A person can get used to anything if given enough time. I hear the muffled sounds of crying in the distance and know exactly who's making those sounds. That the nurses see me and we smile at each other and exchange greetings. They're my friends and we talk often, but I'm sure they wonder about me and the things that I go through every day. I listen as they begin to whisper among themselves as I pass. There he goes again, I hear. I hope it turns out well. But they say nothing directly to me about it. I'm sure they think it would hurt me to talk about it so early in the morning, and knowing myself as I do, I think they're probably right. A minute later I reach the room. The doors have been propped open for me, as it usually is. There are 2 others in the room, and they smile to me as I enter. Good morning, they say with cheery voices, and I take a moment to ask about the kids, and the school, and the upcoming vacations. We talk about the crying for a minute or so. They do not seem to notice, they've become numb to it, but then again, so have I. Afterwards, I sit in the chair that has become shaped like me. They're finishing up now, her clothes are on, but still she is crying. It'll become quieter as they leave, I know. The excitement of the morning always upsets her, and today is no exception. Finally the shade is opened and the nurses walk out. Both of them touch me and smile as they walk by. I wonder what this means. I sit for just a second and stare at her, but she doesn't return the look. I understand, for she doesn't know who I am. I'm a stranger to her. Then turning away, I bow my head and pray silently for the strength I know I will need. I've always been a firm believer in God and the power of prayer, though to be honest, my faith has been made for a list of questions I definitely want answered after I'm gone. Ready now. On go the glasses. Out of my pocket comes a magnifier. I put it on the table for a moment where I open up the notebook. It takes 2 licks of my gnarled fingers to get the well-worn cover open onto the first page. Then I put the magnifier in place. There's always a moment right before I begin to read the story when my mind churns and I wonder, will it happen today? I don't know, for I never know beforehand, and deep down, it really doesn't matter. It's the possibility that keeps me going, not the guarantee, a sort of wager on my part, and though you may call me a dreamer, a fool, or any other thing, I believe that anything is possible. I realize that the science and odds are against me, but science is not the total answer. This I know, this I have learnt in my lifetime. And that leaves me with the belief that miracles, no matter how inexplicable or unbelievable, are real and can occur without regard to the natural order of things. So once again, just as I do every day, I begin to read the notebook out loud, so that she can hear it, in the hope that a miracle that has come to dominate my life will once again prevail, and maybe, just maybe, it will.